thing I want to bring to you that I've never brought to you before is a certain expedition that happened in the early 1915 period of the last century. And then, in addition to what that expedition actually produced, was also revealed in 1946. And basically, it was an expedition which involved Colonel Alexander Corps. It came to be known as the Sacred History Research Expedition. And they discovered some inscriptions, which he found and copied in the year 1915. Guess where? In the region of Mount Ararat. In the region of Mount Ararat. Put it on the screen. And it's going to be hard to read, so I'll read some of it to you. These are the descriptions right here, what I'm putting here in the box. These pictorial inscriptions were translated, to the best of anyone's knowledge, to try to bring an accurate explanation of the origins of the word Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog. And it goes on to say that this explanation also upholds the truth and accuracy of chapter 10, where those names were introduced after the flood, coming from Japheth lineage. In short, the words Magog and Gog are words of the Sumerian tongue, which shows the ancient origin of the words. Jews incorporated the words through the Assyrian Babylonians. The word Magog consists of two words, M-A and then G-O-G, May and then Gog. The word May, M-A, here is a pictorial sign which is right here. And in cuneiform, it looks like this. You got that? It means 1, origin, 2, the seeds of the waters or flood. Now the word Gog, pictorial sign is this P-looking letter right there, or sign. And a cuneiform is this particular symbol. It means the Word of God, or by the Word of God, throned or banished by God, having two meanings when you combine it here. When you combine those both symbols that we just looked at, here and here. When you combine it, it forms a pictorial sign originating from by the Word of God and the seeds of the water flood thrown by God, are both amazing, coincidental with Bible texts. Noah came in Mount Ararat's region with the flood, or at least that's where he landed when the ark rested. That is, with the waters. Likewise, in the first meaning, originating with the Word of God, is upheld in chapter 1, verses 1, 2, and 3 of the Gospel of St. John. The Word of God is met with, in the text, Ishtar. Isn't that? Interesting. The word Gog is met with in the text Ishtar from the library of the temple Ishtar in Nippur, and also in the text of the 7 tablets of the creation of the world. And it gives you the location, part 6, page 11. For linguistical disbelievers of ancient Baal Sumerians, pictorial signs as proof. Now there's more inscriptions that was found. The pictorial sign, which is right here, kind of look like mountains, doesn't it? The pictorial sign is read to Kor, K-O-O-R, and means to come to rest on mountains or peaks. So Kor, the colonel, figured out it came to mean the pictorial sign to come to rest on the mountains or peaks. I'm giving you a very short version of this, my friends, because that's not the subject matter I want to focus in on tonight. But just to give you an idea of just some of the information that points the sign, a big neon flashing sign, where Noah landed and why some of these pictorial names also gives us an explanation of the words Magog and Gog. And where are they located, by the way? In Turkey, what we call Turkey today. In Mount Ararat, where these inscriptions were found, in eastern Turkey. Now, back to this. So this mountain-looking pictorial sign means to come to rest on the mountains or peak. The cuneiform of that is right here. And it means mountain or kura or kura. Another pictorial sign, which would kind of looks like an ark. It's still questionable whether it is one or not as a pictorial sign, but it means tube. And it means to fill the earth, or Tubal. Meshach and Tubal, you make the connection there. The pictorial sign, this sign right here, is tube. It means to fill earth, where some believe is where we get Tubal from. And its pictorial cuneiform is right here. Now there's another pictorial sign, inscription, as you can see, right there. It reads Gog, and it means the flood. Night descended from upon. The flood, night, N-I-G-H-T, descended from above. Now, when you start putting this all together, the sign, this sign, that sign, that sign, and that sign, they can be translated as follows. These, thrown by God, by waters came to rest on the mountains, when the night and the waters flood descended from upon the earth. Since these 4 pictorial signs alone, through the centuries, were well preserved from 2 or more lines of damaged inscriptions, possibly by earthquakes, this colonel copied only the 4 signs. The place where these signs are inscribed is called Karada, or Karada. Called Karada. But what I found very interesting in all this, how all this points back to the pictorial signs that goes on to explain the origins of the word Magog and Gog, which we find, like I said, in Genesis chapter 10, Ezekiel 38, and Ezekiel 39. Word origins that points all the way back to these inscriptions. And not just these inscriptions, but we'll just concentrate on these four right now. That gives a more detailed understanding of where this ark landed and why it landed in this location, at its peaks, on the mountains. Now, a lot of people, there's a lot of information out there where the ark, they think, landed. Let me tell you right now, 95% of all the information that's out there, and maybe some of you have even books on it, is false. Is false. And maybe the day will come and we'll look into this more. If I ever decided to incorporate this particular teaching into a further understanding and study on these pictorial signs and these cuneiforms and pictures, let's just call it that, that also the Sumerians, the ancient Assyrians and Babylonians, took these kind of pictorial signs in cuneiforms and figured out a long time ago what they were referring to. Ma and Gog, to repeat. It means origin, the seeds of the waters of the flood. The word Gog is a sign, that P-looking sign right here. The word means the word of God, or by the word of God, throned or banished by God. When you understand what these words mean, or these pictorial signs mean, and then you make the connection that it must be referring to the ark, and where is the ark? If it's any part of it still there, that's another subject altogether. It's located in Mount Ararat, which I contend only a handful of people that I know, not personally, but I know in history, have figured out where it's at. And even fewer wrote about it. But that's another subject for possibly another time. But I just wanted to point out to you, come back to me. I just wanted to point it out to you that not just what I have taught up to this point, but there's much more evidence of why Gog and Magog is not Russia. It's a kingdom to the north of Israel, but it's not Russia. It's referring to Turkey. Now, if you found that interesting, I want to hear from you.